Have you ever wondered what really happens when you remove yourself from someone's life completely? I'm not talking about pulling back a little, I mean vanishing. No texts, no calls, no contact, just silence. What do they feel when you're no longer there? In a world where it's all too easy to take people for granted, there's something powerful about walking away. Not as a threat, not as a game, but as a decision. When someone gets too comfortable disrespecting your presence, the most impactful thing you can do is disappear. Welcome to a conversation that might just change the way you see yourself and how others see you. If you've ever found yourself treated like an option, this message is for you. We're going to unpack what really happens emotionally when you vanish from someone's life. There are 9 intense stages they go through, and by the end, you'll understand why silence can be louder than any words. And if you're truly ready to stop accepting the bare minimum, comment below, "I'm done being an option." Stick around until the end because the 10th stage is one they never see coming. 1. The sting of rejection. This is where it begins. They never expected you to leave. Not really. In their mind, you were always going to be there. The one who cared, made the effort, stayed loyal. When you go silent, it hits them like a wave they never saw coming. The comfort, the validation, the consistency, gone. And suddenly, they feel something deeper than a casual absence. They feel rejected. But this isn't just any rejection. It's the kind that forces them to confront their own behavior. For the first time, they realize they don't have power over you. When someone thinks you'll always be around, they stop treating you with care. You become a fallback plan instead of a priority. But when you disappear without warnings, without drama, you take that safety net away. And that's when panic begins to creep in. They're not just missing your presence. They're shaken by the fact that they can't reach you. And no, don't announce your exit. Don't give an ultimatum. Don't ask to be treated better. Just leave. Quietly. Decisively. Let the sting speak for itself. 2. The void of missing you. After the initial shock, something heavier sets in: emptiness. They told themselves they'd be fine if you walked away. They convinced themselves you were replaceable. But now their days feel off. Their routines continue, but nothing feels right. That's when the realization hits. You mattered more than they admitted, even to themselves. Your energy, your warmth, the way you showed up emotionally, all gone. They might try to distract themselves with someone new, stay busy, or numb the feeling. But it doesn't work. That emptiness stays. It lingers. You see, they underestimated what you brought to their life. Now they start craving the small things, the conversations, the comfort, the way they felt seen around you. But you're not there, and they can't reach you. Block them. Mute them. Make it clear that access to you is no longer a given. The more they realize they can't find you, the deeper the void becomes. And here's the truth. People don't start appreciating consistency until it's gone. 3. Overwhelming curiosity. By now, they're sitting with the absence, and curiosity turns into obsession. Where are you? What are you doing? Who are you with? Their mind starts spiraling with questions. Because you're no longer part of their life, you've become a mystery. And people fear the unknown more than the familiar. They'll stalk, search, and speculate, but find nothing. And that's when it truly begins to eat at them. The not knowing eats at them. Curiosity turns into fixation. They might even try to gather information through mutual friends, but they'll do it under the guise of casual interest, too proud to admit they're hurting. It's ironic. Someone who once acted indifferent now suddenly cares more than they'll admit. Curiosity is a powerful force. When the mind lacks answers, it creates its own, and those imagined scenarios are often worse than the truth. They picture you laughing with someone else, glowing with peace, completely unaffected by their absence. That thought alone can be unbearable. And here's where you hold all the power. Don't give them breadcrumbs. Don't post vague updates. Don't drop clues. Stay silent. Stay invisible. Let them wonder. Let their own thoughts torment them. The less they know, the more they want to know. Your silence becomes the loudest sound in their world. 4. Deep self-reflection. Now things get personal. After days or weeks of wondering where you are, their focus shifts inward. They stop asking what you're doing and start asking why this happened. This is where real discomfort begins. Was I distant? Was I cold? Did I take them for granted? The regret creeps in slowly, and it stings. You see, most people don't like to admit when they've made mistakes. But your silence forces them to face what they tried to avoid, themselves. Without you there to reassure them, smooth things over, or offer closure, they're left alone with their choices. They replay the conversations where they brushed off your feelings. They remember the texts they left unanswered. They reflect on every moment they made you feel like an afterthought. And it hits hard, because deep down they know they had something real and they ruined it. This is the power of absence. It removes the noise, the distractions, the ego, and replaces it with clarity. Don't interrupt this process. Don't reach out to explain or help them understand. Let the silence do what words never could. Self-reflection only works when it comes from within. And now they're sitting in it, alone, with the weight of what they've done. 5. The urge to pursue. After enough time spent reflecting and regretting, the energy shifts. Now they want you back, badly. The one who once made excuses, who took your presence for granted, is now the one chasing. The urge to pursue you becomes a quiet obsession. They might test the waters. A just thinking about you text. A like on an old photo. A late-night message they'll pretend they didn't mean to send. But you'll notice the difference. Now they're trying. They want back what they let slip away. Here's where your strength matters most. Don't respond. Don't give them the validation they're seeking. Because if you do, you hand them the control again. You've worked too hard to reclaim your power, your peace, your self-worth. Now is not the time to negotiate with someone who only values you when you're gone. Let them pursue, but don't reward the effort. Let them feel the frustration of chasing someone they thought they'd never lose. Let them sit in the realization that they're no longer the one calling the shots. Your silence is not punishment. It's protection. 6. The battle between relief and regret. At first, your absence might feel like a relief to them. They'll tell themselves, finally, I don't have to deal with this anymore. For a moment, they might even feel liberated. But that feeling is fleeting, shallow. It's the illusion of freedom, not the reality of peace. They'll distract themselves with friends, casual conversations, maybe even someone new. But when the noise fades, when they're alone in their room, scrolling through their phone, that's when regret begins to seep in. Freedom without connection is just emptiness. The people they try to use as replacements, they lack the depth, the stability, the meaning that you brought. It's like drinking salt water to quench a deep thirst. Momentary relief followed by a deeper, more painful dryness. In today's world of instant validation and superficial connections, they believed moving on would be easy, but they're starting to realize you can't replace substance with distraction. You can't replace real with temporary. Let them discover that on their own. Don't interrupt their illusion. Let them sit in the emptiness they once mistook for freedom. 7. The desire to play the game. Once regret takes hold, panic follows. And in panic, people grasp for control. So they start playing games. They post photos designed to provoke jealousy. They act indifferent, pretend they've moved on, make cryptic comments online. It's all just theater, a desperate attempt to get your attention without actually reaching out. But here's the difference now. You're not playing anymore. You've outgrown the push and pull, the ego games, the emotional bait. Their posts don't faze you. Their tactics fall flat. Manipulation only works on those still emotionally invested. But when you've reclaimed your peace, when you've matured past the noise, they lose their grip. They'll escalate, passive-aggressive messages, obvious attempts to get under your skin. But your silence, your indifference, that's the final blow. When they can no longer provoke a reaction, they no longer have control. And that, more than anything, drives them mad. 8. The crushing weight of silence. Silence is louder than any argument, more powerful than any comeback. When you vanish completely, deliberately, they're left with only one thing: themselves. No texts, no explanations, no closure, just their own thoughts echoing back at them. And that echo gets louder with time. They begin to remember all the times they ignored your messages, all the moments they dismissed your feelings, all the ways they made you feel invisible. Now, they do anything just to hear from you. Even a single word would feel like oxygen. We live in a world addicted to instant responses, constant validation. When you remove yourself from that rhythm, it creates a void, a stillness they don't know how to sit with. They expected a chase. They expected you to fight for clarity, to beg for answers. But instead, you gave them nothing. And that silence is more punishing than any confrontation could ever be. Let them feel it. Let the absence of your voice say everything they refused to hear when you were present. 9. The fear that brings them crawling back. And now it all crashes down. Fear. The fear they never saw coming. For so long, they were comfortable. They believed you'd always be there, waiting, hoping, holding on. They mistook your consistency for permanence. But now, you're gone. And the fear begins to unravel them. What if I lost them for good? What if they've moved on? What if someone else is making them smile now? They start to imagine it. You in someone else's arms. You sharing moments, laughter, memories, with a person who treats you better than they ever did. And that thought, it haunts them. No more games. No more pride. Their ego collapses under the weight of fear. They'll reach out. Apologies will pour in. Long, emotional messages. Sudden appearances. Desperate attempts to rewrite the past. But here's the truth. By the time they feel that fear, it's already too late. You've found your strength. You've tasted the peace that comes from letting go. You've remembered who you are without them. Their fear is real, but it is their burden to carry, not your responsibility to resolve. 10. The realization of emotional independence. This is the final chapter, where everything comes full circle, because when you disappear, you're not just leaving someone behind, you're walking toward yourself. In the noise of a relationship, we often forget our own voice, dimming our needs to amplify theirs. We chase approval, hoping it will bring connection. But in your silence, in your solitude, you found something greater: clarity, strength, peace. You no longer seek validation. You no longer wonder how they feel, because you've finally remembered how you feel, and that's what matters most. This is emotional independence, the unshakable awareness that your worth doesn't depend on anyone else. And here's the powerful twist. They feel it too. They can sense the change. The person they once knew, the one who stayed too long, gave too much, forgave too easily, is gone. You've outgrown the version of yourself that needed their attention. And that's when they realize they didn't just lose someone, they lost someone irreplaceable. Stop letting people treat you like a backup plan. Stop being the one who stays no matter how many times you're taken for granted. The moment you walk away, the moment you vanish, everything changes. You hold the power now, and they'll feel it in every unanswered message, every quiet day, every moment they wish they could undo. So if you're ready to reclaim your worth, to stop being an option, say it out loud or write it down. I'm done being an option, because from this point on, you are no longer waiting to be chosen. You are choosing yourself. And that is the beginning of your most powerful self.